Remember this book? Do you remember this song? Yes. All right. Caro mio ben. Do you remember that? If you've had any sort of exposure to Western classical singing in your vocal training, you have encountered this book, the 24 Italian songs and arias, and you've also heard this little ditty, Caro mio ben. And today, I'm going to tell you why this song has the ability to make you a stylistically versatile singing badass. Okay? So that's what I'm going to tell you about today. So let's get into it. Before I say anything, I want to make sure you understand that bel canto classical singing is a way of singing. It doesn't mean it's the way to sing. It doesn't mean it's the foundation of singing. I find that it is a beautiful and expressive and instructional way to sing that informs a lot of the ways that I sing other things. So that's why I'm sharing this with you today. I recently had conversations with students that I taught at Elon several years ago, and I was joking about how I enforced these foreign language classical pieces on them, and a lot of people said, I'm really glad you did. That taught me a lot. And so, all right, I don't insist on classical foreign language songs as much as I used to, but it made me think I'm going to offer them more if someone seems to have a passion for them. Anyway, with all that said, Caro mio ben, all right? So the first thing that this little ditty can teach you, and things like it, is flow phonation, or as the Italians and everybody else says, appoggio breathing. Appoggio breathing. So appoggio comes from the Italian verb appoggiare, which means to lean upon, something you can lean upon. Now, if you want to go down the YouTube rabbit hole, you can find, I'm sure, hundreds of videos of people telling you what appoggio really is. That is outside the scope of this video. What I want you to understand is a song like this will teach you how to let air flow through you in a really beautifully nuanced way. It helps you to understand this feeling of, I'm going to sing this an octave down because it's early in the morning. So if I go, Caro mio ben, let's see if I've got it. 1, 3. Caro mio ben. That flow is different than Caro mio ben. So this is going to teach us a really wonderful, gentle, energized generosity of air that is generated from the lower abdominals, that has a really balanced and allowed, A-L-L-O-W-E-D, allowed vibratory pattern. And that's really gold. That's going to directly inform how you sing things in early to mid 20th century styles. We're talking, Jerome Kern, Richard Rodgers, Cole Porter, Frank Lesser, Sheldon Harnick, those sorts of composers, and then into more contemporary composers, from Stephen Sondheim to Stephen Flaherty to Janine Tesori, some of her things, Adam Gettle, in that world. So there are direct applications for this information to come into theater singing today. The other thing that's important about cultivating this way of moving air through you is that it actually acquaints you with contrast. So what I mean by that is, if you know what this feels like, you know how it feels different or similar to other ways of making sound. And that's actually really important because you can only build your knowledge on current knowledge. So that's a really important thing to remember. And then you can even play around. You can play stylistic switch-up games where you sing Defying Gravity in a classical style. And that also opens the door to all kinds of comedic possibility for your auditions and things like that. So it's just good to play with style. So that's reason number one. It teaches you over a period of time, you have to be patient with it, but over a period of time, it teaches you this beautiful legato flow phonation that is a present moment, generous giving of your voice in real time. So it's a tricky thing to learn, and I'm still learning it, but this little gem will teach you to do that if you let it. So reason number 2 that Caro mio ben will help you as a singer is it will teach you these amazing Italian vowels, which you can use everywhere. It will teach you these beautifully bright and resonant vowels. So vowel shape is determined by where your tongue is in your mouth. Where does the top of your tongue relate to your hard palate? So just this first phrase, if I sing Caro mio ben, I am floating my tongue right into my mouth. It's floating way, 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 way up. And if you hear that, it's creating a really terrific resonant profile. My tongue floating into my mouth gets out of my pharynx, which is my main resonator. It comes high to my hard palate, which creates a really terrific acoustic environment, and it floats my tongue off of my larynx, which gives my larynx a lot of freedom to do what it needs to do. So these vowels, a, e, I, o, u, those Italian vowels will instruct you in so many ways, and then you'll be able to say, if you're belting goodbye at the end of goodbye from Catch Me If You Can. I worked on that with a student yesterday. That is an a vowel. So these bright Italian vowels will give you access to what that feels like to have a really wonderfully present, overtone-inducing, sparkly vowel profile. It gives you a place of relating to what these vowels feel like. It also gives you a sensation of feeling a lot of bright and metallic feedback in your inside hearing that you then become used to and realize that you have this really, I call it primary red, this primary red, beautiful color going through the middle of your sound. So if I'm singing, listen to the differences, yeah? Caro mio ben. Okay, so now if I let my tongue sort of fall down. Caro mio ben. Caro mio. It's 5 in the morning. Caro mio ben. Yep. So I belted all week too. I taught all these belting workshops and I'm tired. So a little vocal therapy today for me. But these floaty vowels are just gold. And when I really latched on to how they can help me, I put them everywhere. The information feeds me everywhere. And for me, honestly, if I don't, for my particular vocal tract, if I don't use these Italianate vowels in my information, my intonation will be flat. And sometimes I'll even think that I'm doing it and I'll go back and listen to a recording. I'm like, nope, I'm flat. So that's taught me, the Italianate vowels have really taught me how to create a sound profile in my singing that is on pitch and also has a lot of variety of color. It has warmth and it has brightness. Or darkness and brightness, however you want to say that. Chiaroscuro, yeah? That wonderful Italian word that means light and dark together. Chiaroscuro. And that chiaroscuro, it exists in everything we do. It should, in my opinion, yeah? You know, unless you're playing a character that doesn't have that. So it's theater singing. We make all kinds of different sounds. All right, reason three is singing Italian teaches us a lot about how to make really terrifically efficient consonants. So what I mean by that is, caro mio ben, credimi almen. All of my consonants are so terrifically right there at the alveolar ridge. Yeah, caro. So that flipped R gives me a lot of information, and I'll tell you how. Caro mio ben, that N in the front. instead of ben, or how we, in American English especially, a lot of our consonants are middle and back, yeah? Credimi, credimi, almen. So all of that in the front. So say if I have a word like, what was I coaching yesterday? It was an L and an R or something. My colleague Kevin Wilson, he calls them the lemoners, LMNR. Oh yeah, like say if I'm singing the word clear, yeah? If I am singing the word clear, like on a G, and it has to be in a mode 1 formation, clear! If I'm going clear, that more American neighborhood of those consonants is going to actually obstruct the sound coming through. But if I'm going if my L is in that Italian location, that gives me a lot of freedom in my vocal tract. Clear! Yeah, I don't know why I'm trying to... Oh, I went sharp. I think. I can't tell. Y'all, it's early in the morning. This is when I can get this video done for you. So, all right. Oh, Lord. Clear! Clear! So I'm going to let that Italian information, clear! Yeah, I'm going to let that influence my standard American consonants so that my consonants are living near the front. It frees up a lot of space in the vocal tract, and it makes your articulation energy very clear. Yeah. So that's one way. So these Italianate vowels, if you have that information to draw upon, you can then really troubleshoot your articulation. Sometimes, especially, look at sections where you have really busy articulation or fast articulation, and go through and just give them an Italianate quality. Go very slowly and see how that frees up your articulation. I think it'll help you a lot. All right. Reason 4 that Caro mio ben, and I think almost all other language songs will benefit a theater singer big time, is that you feel the energy of a different language. Languages, styles, musical style, everything grows up in the context of its culture. And so as a theater singer, you are discerning and empathizing with whatever point of view and culture the music you're singing grew up in. So when I'm singing Caro mio ben, I am coming behind the eyeballs of someone who thinks and sees and dreams in Italian. I'm not just doing this sort of translation for my American ego that identifies myself as an American man. So I let the energy of the Italian language live in me. Caro mio ben, my precious good one. But, it doesn't really translate in English well. Caro mio ben, credimi almen. Yeah, believe me at least. Caro mio ben. So, as opposed to, French has its own energy, German has its own energy, Russian, Spanish, any of the languages that we will often sing in more Western classical situations, they have their own energy. If you can discern the energy of the song, it really builds that skill in you as a theater singer to just get behind the eyeballs of the person that you are conveying and to really empathize through their point of view on the world. That's a big deal. So, and it's also really fun just to play and to live in the culture of this world, the culture of how this music was crafted, even in its place in time. What would it have been to have been a young Italian person or not so young Italian person in the 18th century? Yeah. So that's really fun. It's Imagination Town. So it gives you a sense, you open yourself up to the energy of a certain language and you let your body do that. If you even just go on my website and watch the difference between me singing German and musical theater, you can discern there's a difference in those languages, those musical styles and those musical worlds. All right. So that's embracing the energy of the language. It makes you a very versatile and flexible and intuitive theater singer. And number 5, on a layer below the energy of the language, the actual meaning of the language. So a big reason why people hate this is that no one ever knew what they were singing. Like, why are you going to sing a song and you don't know what it means? So, caro mio ben, credimi almen, yeah, my dear, sweet somebody, yeah, my dear, my good, caro mio ben, yeah, credimi almen, believe me at least, senza di te, without you, languisce il cor, yeah, languishes the heart. My heart languishes, yeah? So now, but I'm not doing like a translation. I have to know, caro mio ben. I have to know what that means so that it comes out of my heart to you and to whoever I'm singing to. Yeah, believe me. There's like, I'm not believed. What does that rolled R have in it now? Credimi almen, you know? I have to know exactly that image, those syllables and phonemes have to have the image and the meaning for me going together. Now, this is not, once you start doing this with foreign language, that fires that neural network in your mind and your body to automatically do that with any English theater singing. You won't be satisfied if you don't have a specific image to rely upon and to draw from when you're doing your theater stuff in English. It's a terrific way to understand how language, these phonemes and syllables, they are just symbols for what this really unwordable, unnameable reality that lives in our body. We do our best with language, but language is limited. The actual communication of the soul comes through these energies, and every language has its strengths and weaknesses and limitations and abilities when it comes to this. So really understanding what every word means, absorbing it so that that word meaning comes from you. Yeah, so that you know every image. Super important. And then that translates right over into your theater singing. So that way you're singing, the sun comes up, I think about you. I can see the house I'm in. I can see the sun coming up. I can see the person I'm thinking about. Then all kinds of other, the coffee cup, I think about you. Yeah, so your mind is alive with imagery when you sing. Because you know what? If it's not alive with imagery when you sing, it's boring for you. It's boring for us. So, yeah. What does every word mean? Gold! Gold. Gold. All right. Number six is when you work on this stuff, you actually find out classical singing isn't what you thought it was. Classical singing. I got this memo maybe in my late 30s. I mean, I had an idea. I could do this stuff, but oh gosh, there were so many things I thought you had to do when you sang classical music. There was a lot of over-opening of space. There was a lot of pushing the voice. There was a lot of really bringing a lot of folds together. And when you find it for yourself, that it's actually a very paradoxically athletic and easy, allowed, 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 I keep using that word, event. It's pretty mind-blowing how easily it comes through you. So working with classical rep and finding your way into it to find out, that actually doesn't require me to pull my larynx down to my lungs and loft my soft palate to my brain and press my tongue down and make all of this sound. That's something that's hard to explain, but as you work through your journey with classical singing and you find the ease of it, it's pretty mind-blowing. And once you discover that, you also open your mind to the possibility that, that high skrelty thing in that song might not be as difficult as I think it is. That articulation series might not be as difficult as I think it is, or it might feel different than I think it's supposed to feel. It opens you up to the possibility of feeling all kinds of surprising things that you haven't felt yet. So I feel like that's the gift that a lot of classical singing has. And it's a wonderful journey to try things out. You can do that in any style, but I've definitely found it to be true in this style, especially proving to myself that what I thought was inaccessible or something that I wasn't able to do, I was completely able to do. It also includes all kinds of vocal identities and ego identities that you can live inside as a theater singer. That is your job as a theater singer. You have your singular voice, and then you are, for a moment, looking through the eyeballs of this other point of view. So it's a terrific thing to do. I mean, it teaches you empathy. It tells stories to other people. It's a terrific way to make art. All right. So number 7 is appreciating the beauty and value of an overdone song. So this one, you say this one, it's a real eye roller to some students who know things, yeah? So you say, I'm going to sing Caro mio ben. It's like, oh my God, Caro mio ben, yeah? So don't ever apologize for doing overdone material if it is beautiful, if it's well done. A lot of times things are overdone for a reason. So I think taking something and understanding why it's an old chestnut, why it's a classic is really important. And then guess what? Nobody's going to sing it like you sing it. That can never be overdone. Yeah. So just letting that point of view affect how you see your theater singing. If there's a song that you love, if you want to sing I Dreamed a Dream at every audition and you sing the crap out of it, you get in there and sing it. All right? If it's right for the audition. So I love that song. Have fun with this. Reach out if you have questions. And I do encourage you to play around with languages and work with your teachers on things that challenge you and take you out of what you're used to and can give you new skills that will all come into the way that you craft your songs as a theater singer. All right. Well, there you have it. 7 reasons. Let me go over them again. Number 1, flow phonation. Let me consult my notes. Number 1, flow phonation. Number 2, your amazing bright Italian vowels. Number 3, Italianate consonants, articulation that can inform how you articulate in English. Also, the energy of the language itself, intuiting a language's energy. Number 5, the meaning of the language. Counting, y'all, counting. 5, the meaning of the language, specific imagery of every word and absorbing it so that it is coming from your heart. Number 6, classical singing isn't necessarily what you think it is, and most of the time it's not. This sort of style, it's mind-blowingly, beautifully easy and integrated and nuanced and difficult. But it's not what you think it is. So it's opening yourself up to possibility. That is a possibility of feeling something new. That's the value. And then number 7, appreciating and cherishing an overdone song that we call overdone. That's not overdone, but something that's beautiful and that you can share. Letting yourself do that. If you love it and you connect to the song, there's only one you. There it is. There's only one you. Folks need to hear the story. Only you can sing. So take that. Reach out to me if you have questions. Dan@dancalloway.com. And go sing. Bye.